and welcome back to the AL Central Rundown. And with me today is Sam, Ty, Suckett Lee, and then Dan sitting in Cleveland. It has been an incredible week if you're a Minnesota Twins fan. They have been, well, competent. They are sitting number two in the division standings right now. And might I just say it's been mighty nice. So welcome everyone to the AL Central Rundown. Lee, it's going to be a long episode for you. I don't know what else to tell you.
What is that number 5 for?
It's number 2. I had to put the thing right here.
Okay, well, it looks like a 5.
Well, it's number 2, Lee. You know who's number 5? Detroit, in the bottom of the division. Suck it.
No, they're not. They're 4th.
They're tied, though.
No,
Anyway,
we're not anymore.
the
We were tied, but
standings-
we're on the
Lee?
way up.
Lee, this is my moment. I need you to just understand this is my time to shine.
Well,
And
I'm
I
not going
don't
to
need-
let you sit here and be wrong.
Anyway, this
I'm just
week-
imagining Eric hitting live and then scrambling like, oh God, okay.
Thank God that doesn't record because I 100% hit my mic completely over when it happened. So anyway, we have, of course, the Cleveland Guardians sitting on top, the second place Minnesota Twins, the Kansas City Royals, Detroit Tigers, and then the Chicago White Sox. Actually, some teams with positive run differentials, which was kind of rare last year, if anybody remembers. Still pretty early, but obviously it's just kind of nice to see. Chicago really needs to figure out some pitching because they are sinking fast with that negative 31 run differential, and they're expected 4 of 11 record because of it.
Can we just enjoy how the standings are 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 wins
It is
and
nice.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 losses?
I mean, it is nice. I did not notice that myself, but that is nice for them to see. As far as offense, the Twins are second in the American League. I don't know. It's weird. Houston is way up. Twins number 2, Detroit 5th, Cleveland 8th, and then way at the bottom, Kansas City 14th, and then again in the cellar, the Chicago White Sox with the worst runs in the American League. The team ERA, no surprises here. Cleveland number 3, Kansas City number 5, Detroit 6, Minnesota 10, and again not in the cellar, but Chicago sitting at 14. So that has been where we stand for the division and where we kind of stand for the offense. Has there been any surprises this week that anyone can maybe think of?
Yeah, it was really weird how the Tigers just didn't play any games for 4 days. That was
Oh, you are half correct. They played, but they didn't show up for
Are
them.
we sure that they played? Are we sure that they showed up?
Oh, Lee,
This
why don't
is
you
the
go
worst
over that in a few
timeline.
minutes?
That's all I got.
What do you that, Ty?
Tell me about it.
The worst timeline with the Sox and the Tigers being at the bottom. It doesn't make any sense.
See, I disagree. This is like how it should be. This is how. This is what I've dreamed of. So we actually have a lot of games to talk about, jokes aside, including the games that apparently Lee said the Tigers didn't play. Probably the biggest news, though, is Kansas City dropped new City Connect jerseys, and then also they drew up a new home for themselves to unlock in the 2028 season. No, sorry, whenever
2030, which we'll
There
talk
it is.
about. So the city of Kansas City has proposed a new stadium location for the Royals. The city put this proposal forward. It passed through the city council earlier this week, or last week, depending on how you look at it. Let's talk about just some of the financial numbers right off the top. So this is a $1.9 billion plan. The city, their proposal that they have passed includes the city paying for $600 million of this new stadium.
Okay.
This is
so ownership is paying 2/3 of this.
Well, let's get a little further down the road here, Eric.
All right.
So
I was about to give the billionaire credit, but go ahead.
So, $600 billion has been sort of promised by the city. This is also with no new taxes. Mayor Quentin Lucas has promised. So this is going to come from just revenue from this area and from bond sales and from moving around money. The reason that's significant is because 2 years ago, during the April elections in 2024, the city of Kansas City, actually Jackson County, voted down a measure to fund a new ballpark for the Royals and also to keep the Chiefs where they are. We know that the Chiefs are on the move. Now we know that the Royals are also likely going to be on the move. So $600 million has been promised by the city. It's a lot. I don't think the city has $600 million laying around. You know, bond sales empty the savings accounts. I don't know. But that's a lot of money to allocate without new taxation. So
So it's how firm were they on the no new tax? Because that did not work well for George Bush.
That's what Quentin Lucas has promised. So Quentin, I'll take your word for it, but let's see it. Good news for me is I don't live in city limits and have not ever lived in city limits my entire life. So that's the city's proposal that they brought forward. It's interesting to note that after the Chiefs announced their plan to move to the Kansas side, the state of Missouri put forward a plan, a piece of legislation, to pay for half of a new stadium for the Royals. But the specific language of that bill says that the state can pay for half, could pay for half, has the ability to pay for half. So, again, I'll take the state, I'll take their word for it. So, half of 1.9 billion is 950 million. So, if you do the math, the remainder would be $350 million. Now, not a small amount of money.
No.
Not an amount of money that falls from the sky, certainly. But when you're talking about a project of this magnitude, putting together $350 million of private financing doesn't make the eyes water. You can make that happen, especially for something of this scale.
Not for nothing.
Those are the financial aspects of this project.
Just like 350 million is kind of, that's obviously, like you said, that's not couch cushion money. Somebody with mega FU money is going to have that, but that does seem like an opportunity for maybe a minority investor to come in and buy 30% of the Royals, because their value with this new stadium is going to go up by X.
Yeah, for sure. That's potential. So we'll see what happens. But so there's the financial aspect of it. The location of this new stadium is going to be in Washington Square Park. So why don't you zoom back in there, Eric? Let me draw your attention to this little grassy area right here and the parking lot above it. That is Washington Square Park. And that is the area that is going to be a part of this proposal for the new ballpark. If you could zoom out just a little bit, Eric, just a little bit there. So just to the west of this ballpark, you've got Union Station and all of that stuff. Just to the south, you've got Crown Center. Crown Center is a sort of, it's called a mall. It's kind of like a place to hang out in Kansas City. And there's a lot of stuff in that area. There's an aquarium. There's Legoland, Kansas City, all sorts of stuff just to the south of this little park. So the area that we're talking about is up to these train tracks, this parking lot, and this park, and this building right here. That is what we are referring to. And so there's three things in this and there's Jimmy John's right across the
I was
street.
about to say, will the Jimmy John still be there?
I'm going to guess that all of the stuff across the street to the east here is going to get bought out by the team, and they're going to build some nice bars and restaurants. I don't think the Jimmy John's is going to survive. But
Or they could do the Illich method and just parking lot.
yeah, well, that is possible. That is possible. But there is apparently 19,000 parking spots within a 10-minute walk of this site. But anyway, there's three things. There's three things in this.
Does that include the interstate that's like right across from it?
Those are train tracks.
Sorry, I meant like Main Street, Grand Avenue.
Yeah. So anyway, first thing that you're going to notice is that there is a Blue Cross Blue Shield building on the west side of this park, on right there above the north. Nope. To the east, Eric. The building, right? Yep. Nope.
Just go
right
on. I'll
there.
find it.
Right there. There's a building right there at the park. It is a Blue Cross Blue Shield building that is going to be up, Eric, up. It's that building right there. 2301 Main Street. That is a Blue Cross Blue Shield office building. I have a friend who used to work in this building. He works remote now. And according to him, most of the people who worked in that building have either been moved to other buildings or they work remote now. So that building is probably coming down with or without a new stadium. So RIP Blue Cross Blue Shield building. Also, in the south corners of this park right here, so that's the first thing. The second thing that's in this park is there is a Korean War Veterans Memorial and a George Washington Memorial right there in the corners of the Washington Square Park. Now, I don't know how odd it would be to have a Korean War Veterans Memorial outside of a baseball stadium, but I can think of more out of place things. They'll probably move those two monuments out of the way and put them somewhere else. But most importantly, speaking of moving things out of the way, the third thing that is in this park is a lot of homeless people.
Free attendance.
So I think displacing homeless people is also a very a core pillar of this proposal by the city. So that's Washington Square Park. That's where they want to build this stadium. It's 7 miles away from where the current stadium is. I think that this is probably, of all of the options I've seen, the best option on the table. So there you go.
As someone who's traveled to Kansas City, honestly, I love this. I cannot wait to visit again. I pledged myself that I would never go back when they were still so far outside of city limits.
Mm-hmm.
The only knock I've seen against Kaufman is that it is so far out of the way from the city, and it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. But if they put it in the middle of the city, I think that's really cool. I think ballparks should be in cities.
Never mind. I was going to ask a question that photo at least resolves. I was wondering, will the fountains come to the new location?
See, I was hoping the same thing because like that's
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna make a small assumption, and I'm gonna say that there's going to be some type of water feature, some type of fountain-esque amenity in this new stadium.
I do think it's a shame. I think the K is a beautiful ballpark still, even though it's I think the oldest in the division at this point. I think it's a shame to lose it, but the location seems really good to me, just as kind of a layman from the outside. Yeah. So I get it.
And there's also the streetcar, which runs right past that area. The streetcar is something that they've been building a lot more infrastructure for because of A, the World Cup this year, and just B, better public transportation in downtown Kansas City. If this new stadium gets them, actually motivates more public transit in downtown Kansas City, I mean, I think that's going to be a huge win for everyone. And the thing is, staying in Kauffman has kind of been it's been made clear that that's not going to happen over the last couple of years. And I don't mind this as a location. And there's a lot of stuff that I think is in this area specifically that I think would make this a really cool location. There's like a walking bridge between the buildings in this area that would be really cool to, like, you know, park at Crown Center and then walk across the link to get there. And this is an old, by the way, what you're seeing on the screen, this is an old rendering from a couple years ago of what they were trying to build back in 2024 when they had that vote on the ballot. Last thing I'll say is Quentin Lucas has said that he wants this new stadium to be ready for opening day 2030. Now, this was a proposal that was passed by the city. So we're on the proposal stage of this project. We haven't even sold the bonds for this project yet. We haven't even gotten, a construction permit. If this is going to be ready for opening day 2030, a shovel needs to go into the ground,
Oh. The shovel just went in the ground and broke.
He's really drawn that moment out, like, and now the shovels need to go in the dirt. Why does that always happen to Sam? As soon as he's right about to finish a point, that's when the internet goes.
I am curious. Has anyone heard what's going to happen to Kauffman? Is it just going to sit empty?
Yeah,
I think that's a tomorrow problem, not a today problem.
Interesting.
Is there any chance that John Sherman just goes, nope, don't like that idea?
Oh, don't pull a fish.
Probably not, for all the money they've been able to fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The lease ends in 2031. And like I said, with the time element of this project, if we get to a point where we're signing year-to-year leases, that's going to get very messy. So
does it end before 2031 or after the 2031 season?
I think it ends December 31st, 2031. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's what the case is. So
I mean, because I'm just thinking, if it ends, let's say hypothetically it ends before 2031, and they're saying, okay, we want this new stadium to be up in 2030, they're still giving themselves like a year of wiggle room, right?
Yeah, that's true. But again, I basically cover local government for a living in my job, and I know how many wheels need to be put into motion for something like this to actually happen. So who knows? But like I said, if they want this open in a timely manner, they need to get a shovel into the ground pretty quick.
Okay, so that isn't the only thing that they dropped. It's been a busy time in Kansas City because they also dropped their second round of City Connect jerseys. And I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical, and then I saw them on the field this week, and they won me over pretty good. So here's your first look at Vinny Pasquantino looking like a big, strong boy that he is, wearing the new jerseys. Yeah. Sam, first thoughts, and then we'll just open it up.
So I don't mind them, and as I've said, I feel like they're basically just a Super Smash Bros. Color swap of the original City Connect jerseys. Like if Vinny Pasquantino was a character in Smash Bros. And you're on the selection screen and just hit his portrait a couple times, this is one of the color options. So, like, it makes sense to me. I think a lot of people liked the old City Connect jerseys, and these seem to just be those jerseys, but with a new color palette. I like the magenta and the blue. I think it looks nice. So, Yeah.
Yeah, I do like how they faded that too. Especially, what really won me over is when I saw the helmets. Like the helmets look really great.
Hmm.
Like I was really impressed with those. But yeah, the blue going into the purple, I think it just looks nice. And then like the
Yeah.
white. This is my favorite reference because I'm a big Beatles fan.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And
So
that was on the old jersey too. And that sort of magenta blue, sort of ombre type look, that's been used by the city in their sort of logoing for some years now, since like the 90s, I believe. So that is a good, I think, a decent change. And look, these City Connect uniforms, they'll do them as long as Nike owns the uniform rights. It's an opportunity to sell more merchandise. It's an opportunity to, hey, now we can do throwback City Connect night. We can go back to the 1.0 jerseys, throwback City Connect night, guys. Come on. And yeah, so
How do we feel about the big red QT?
the QT, I was gonna talk about that because that is obnoxious.
the red Quick Trip logo is a bit of an eyesore. And
They didn't have to put the red in it, and it wouldn't be as bad from my perspective.
They
if
could have
they
just
could
made
just
it. Yeah,
make
if they
a
made it
QT
blue.
logo that blended in, that
Yeah.
would be great. But my former employer apparently didn't go for that. So
That's what it does.
You should
It
call
bothers
them
me.
up. Let them know what kind of
yeah,
mistake they
I'll
made.
get on the phone. I'll say, Chet, we need to talk, buddy.
Of course, his name is Chet. I don't know Chet, but that seems like it.
His dad's name was Chester.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know. Like to me, and like just, I think we've all kind of gotten used to the to the patches. But like the Royals have like a really obnoxious one. The Astros have a really obnoxious one.
The Mariners.
The
is
Mariners have like that Nintendo Switch thing from last year was basically the entire sleeve. Like
Mhm.
I guess so. Like I can stomach an
Do
ad
they
on
still
the
have a
sleeve.
Nintendo patch this year?
I don't
The
know. I haven't
Mariners?
looked.
I
I
think
just
so.
I probably do. I just haven't been watching any of their games, so I wouldn't know.
Hmm.
Dan would tell you, but the games have been behind a paywall in Seattle, so he couldn't really tell you.
I think they do. But yeah, thank you, Eric.
So yeah, I don't know. Like yeah, the QT patch does kind of bring it down a little bit for me, but I do like them a lot. I was a little bit skeptical, but yeah, once I saw them
Yeah.
on the field, like I do like how everything pops off them.
They
But
do
yeah,
look nice. I think they're just a little bit boring. Like I don't know. I think I'm an outlier in terms of which I think the City Connect should be fun and weird. But like these are just like a bit boring to be City
I think
Connect.
I think the reason that they're boring is because they're white as the primary color. I
Yeah.
think if it was a head to toe like gradient of that,
Or like give me the pants.
I
Give
think
me,
that would
like,
be too
blue pants or
much.
something. Give me like blue or purple pants. I think that would be, and then just the white jersey.
Maybe.
I think that would look nice.
Maybe.
The
Yeah.
Royals with
That's some
magenta
softball
pants
stuff.
would be something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the new City Connect jerseys. I'm not gonna go drop $150 on a City Connect jersey, but I think, as far as that's concerned, if they have a nice giveaway of a piece of City Connect merch, maybe I'll hit that up at some point this season. So
Yeah. All right. Well, not. We'll go from new things for all of the Royals and kind of new players for the White Sox. Right. It's kind of exciting if their old players weren't falling off of a cliff every game. Ty, Tell me who's on the White Sox roster because I didn't know a lot of them before and I sure don't know any more today.
Well, what I can tell you is that whoever's on the roster now is not a guarantee. I can tell you that we demoted Shane Smith after he had 2 starts, 8.1 innings pitched, actually 3 starts, I believe, a 10.80 ERA, terrible. His fastball just is not doing what it's supposed to do. The only true outfielder we had on the roster in Austin Hayes went to the 10-day IL. See if you bring. Oh, you want to look at his expected slugging or any of that for the fastball? Maybe. Very curious to see what that looks like. That's for the. Is that the fastball?
This is Shane Smith.
Maybe it's the change up. His off-speed pitches are getting. That's why, because his fastball, he's not relying on it as much as he did in the past. As you'll notice, the splits are very different in 25. So, yeah, he's just got sent down to get things figured out.
Shane Smith was your opening day starter, was he
I
not?
was gonna say that. How many times has there been an opening day starter that got sent down within 3 weeks of the season start?
It'd probably be the first one.
I was about to say, like, this might legitimately be the first time.
And who else on that roster, on that rotation, would you have made the opening day starter?
Yeah,
I guess
I mean,
anyone else.
Davis Martin, really, the only other guy that's been really good. They're decent so far. But like I said with Smith, he was a Rule 5 pick last year or 2 years ago. He overperformed last year, so we'll see if he can regain form. I'm not banking on it either way. But in greater news, Austin Hayes, as you can bring up that Savant page, our only true outfielder that can actually do everything you need to do in an outfield. He got hurt within the first couple games of the season. I believe it was on the 7th of April. And I mean, he was doing okay, especially compared to the rest of the roster. So with not having Kyle Teal around, not having Hayes around, this has been a pretty bad week. Let's say that.
Does anyone remember off the top of their heads where Shane Smith finished in our top 25 AL Central players? Because I remember he was in it, wasn't he?
He was in it. I think it was in the low 20s. It was
Okay.
towards the bottom of it.
Thank you for that, Sam. I appreciate it. But yeah,
That'll age like milk.
Yeah. Austin Hayes, once again, our only true outfielder on the roster, went down. Hopefully to be back by early May. We also lost Everson Pereira, another one of those previous top round draft picks that we're hoping can figure it out. And he had started really slow, started to figure out batting specifically, and then obviously went to the IL. As you can see on the screen here, we have Baldwin. I'm just going to rapid fire these so we don't take up too much time. Brooks Baldwin, who was supposed to be our opening day center fielder, other than Acuna. He is officially done for the year after that internal brace procedure. So outfield is going to be an issue all year. And then just the last two things for us. We have no update on Kyle Teal except the fact that he's hitting off of a tee without pain, which really doesn't tell me a lot given that he was hurt 3 weeks ago. I believe that was March 25th in WBC, if not before that.
And he was then a quad strain?
I believe so, yes.
That's it. Yeah, there's really nothing. It's 6 to 8 weeks, and like they're not going to let him run for probably another like week or so. So yeah, I don't know if
They're
there's
just like, all right, stand in the batter's box, swing a bat.
Yeah.
Well, and it wouldn't even be that big of a deal if Caro was doing what he was supposed to do, but now because he's playing every day or because he's not what we thought he was going to be, it's catcher has not been a great position for us so far. And then last but not least, our 18th pitcher. All right, we're going to keep this count going throughout the year. Our 18th pitcher on our roster in 2026, Jonathan Cannon, will join our big league club today for today's game. And first half last year was great. Second last of half year, he did not do very well. And he actually, what I found interesting on this, so in AAA, he had an 8.31 ERA through eight innings. So why are we bringing up somebody who can't even get AAA batters out? Like, I get just throw somebody in there, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Because he has MLB experience, is probably.
Yeah,
and he's 20.
what's the alternative?
Right.
Noah Schultz, who actually potentially, you keep getting rumored. I think it just got formally announced on your trade rumors at the top of the page when you're scrolling through, Eric. But Noah Schultz should be joining the staff. There it is. So That'll be fun. I'm excited to talk about that next week. But yeah, we're in a place. We're definitely in a
I
place.
was about to say that's a lot of transact. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transactional moves in a week.
Dude.
That's a rough week because it's not the trade deadline and it's not the Twins at that trade deadline. That's a lot.
Now, I do want to call out. I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more as we go into the games later, but when you talk about our run differential of being negative 31, so within the last week, we scored 11, we allowed 15. So pitching is figured out. It's just the fact that we're not scoring now.
That's always the fun part. The Tigers would do that in like
That was for the
2020.
week. Ty, I thought you said that they lost a game 11-15. I was like, oh, well, that's just heartbreaking.
No, that was for the whole week. Total runs scored versus total runs allowed.
Chiefs
So our pitching
15,
is showing up now.
Bears 11.
Tigers would do this thing when they were really bad, where they would like have really good pitching, but then they couldn't score, and then they would have really good offense, but their bullpen would give up 7 runs, and all that type of stuff. I mean, that's just what a bad team does, but they can't do one or the other consistently. They just suck at both.
The White Sox have been kept on high hopes of the Tigers, seeing what they've done over the last week or so.
All right, well, they just finished sweeping the Marlins. So how did the White Sox do against the Marlins again? They held the Marlins to 3 runs. How many more scores did?
Yes, the great Miami Marlins baseball
Can we talk
team.
about the Marlins for a second? Because
great
I
team.
was aware
So
of
many
something
good
yesterday,
players.
and
Yes, unbeatable
been
team.
eating
Those
at me
Miami
since then.
Marlins.
They
those who have not-
started against the Rockies and the White Sox. They are not good. Come on. They just looked good because they're playing against shitty teams.
I will say, I think the Marlins could be this year's good bad team.
Maybe it's also the Marlins. Who knows? Like they've been aimless. They've been as aimless as the Angels have been in the last decade. So
They got
the
some young
Marlins
guys.
The Marlins are playing the Tigers obviously this week, which is why I thought it. But apparently for like the last 6 months or so, they have been calling every pitch from the dugout. And it is really bothering me that is allowed and that their catcher is either a moron, not a major league player, or the Marlins do not know how to develop. All 3 of those, I think, are incredibly plausible. But it bothers me. So what they do is every pitch, I think Ramirez is this guy's name, because I think I saw an article because I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on this yesterday. Ramirez came up, he's a pretty young catcher, and he's kind of a flawed catcher. So they want him to be able to worry about blocking and framing and all of that. So they basically took the scouting report.
Augustine Ramirez is a DH masquerading as a catcher. That's what
He's not a good catcher. No.
So their answer wasn't get better. It was we'll take the biggest aspect of the game as the catcher away from you completely.
So do they just have the pitch comm in the dugout then?
What they do is every pitch you will just see Ramirez do this, and there's a guy with like an NFL style play sheet, and he just looks at it and he does like, and then you'll see Ramirez like, all right, and then he'll go to the pitch comm and call the pitch.
It's amazing they can do that with the pitch clock quick enough every time.
I mean,
I was thinking the same thing. They get that done in 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean it's automatic. As soon as he catches and throws it back, it's.
I feel like it would be easier for him to just learn how to call the game.
Yeah.
Stop, because like this guy he's not going to get better at it. That's not how getting better at things work. Either you can call a game or you can't. Catchers have been calling a game for baseball since the curveball was invented. They had to put a second finger down. If you cannot figure it out, just move him to first base like everyone else does. But this guy's not going to stand a chance because I can tell you the next team he's on isn't going to give him the signal from the dugout.
No,
I'm
because
also
Benetti and
surprised that
Petrie
they're
were
doing
talking about this like for the whole inning yesterday during like the 7th or whatever. They were like, Well, his next team is going to look at that and know that he can't call a game. So what do his like free agent prospects look like, and all that. And like, what about when the Marlins try to get a free agent catcher? And they're like, well, you can't call the game, and how's that gonna?
Right.
It's it's really weird.
But then also, like, one of the things I like about baseball is sometimes you have to perform with imperfect data. And sometimes that makes really ugly baseball. But what can be really impressive is someone who calls a game and they're able to like kind of master their craft. If that's just coming from the dugout, like to me that is taking away like the art form of baseball, the pitcher versus batter mentality, and you're just forwarding it to the dugout, and like that bothers me a lot. I hope that they squash it as soon as humanly possible.
But it's not like has it helped them? Once again, they started
Yes.
against bad teams. Then you
Well, today the Tigers just got 7 runs off of Sandy Alcantara. So I mean, I don't know how well it's working for them.
I did see it wasn't a huge improvement, but they did see an improvement across their pitching staff as a whole, as you would expect, because again, you have the guy. I'm assuming he's the pitching coach or whoever he is. He has the scouting report right in front of his face, and like, it's not like people had a hissy fit when players kept the position sheet in their hat that they couldn't figure out to stand, and now they're just gifting this guy the entire scouting report. Like, how is that allowed?
The most important player on the field defensively, too, by the way.
Yes. I hate it.
Yeah, and Ramirez sucks as a catcher defensively. He's not good. They should stop trying to put him at catcher, but they don't have anyone else, I guess.
We'll just go sign another catcher in the offseason. Like, I can tell you, there's 9 Austin Hedges that you can just sign. Christian Vasquez took a minor league deal with the Astros. You can find these veteran catchers that can teach this Ramirez to do it.
We'll give you Drew Romo, Corey Lee.
The White
go
Sox
through another couple.
19 catchers on roster. Just get one of them.
Man, kids these days, they don't know what catching used to be.
I'm very sorry to go on an old man rant about it, but like that bothers me much more than it probably should. So, all right. Well, anyway,
I hope you enjoyed the Miami Marlins portion of this AL Central rundown.
I actively will start cheering against them because of this. I was indifferent at best against the Marlins. I hope that they continue to be in the cellar for the next.
Does anyone have strong feelings on the Marlins?
Yes. Suddenly,
I kind of like them.
Indifference is kind of just, I feel like that's the main selling point of that team.
The Marlins gave us Miggy, so I kind of like them for that.
It was very nice of them.
Anything else?
It was very nice
No.
of them.
But speaking of gifting, let's talk about this Tiger series. All right.
Oh my God.
For those who cannot see on camera, that says Detroit Statty, August 2026. So, the Minnesota Twins and the Detroit Tigers played 4 games, and should I say, shame on all of you thinking it was just such a cakewalk for Detroit, and there was who many sweeps are we gonna call? And I'm sorry, Ty, I see you with your camera off.
Hold on, Eric. Eric, when you say all of you, what did I predict for this series?
Sam, we're cool. Like you're
okay.
Cool.
And what did you predict for this series, Mister? The Twins are so great. So let's just get that clear. You predicted a split for this series.
Sam, do you remember what I said about Lee and like letting me have my moment here? Read. Let me have this. I will not have this for long.
You can have this. You can have this.
After this week, no more. That's all I'm saying.
So, Ty, in your shame, you said it was a hot take to call a split series against the Twins and the Detroit Tigers. And you know what? It wasn't. Because the Twins go into Detroit and sweep them.
No, they don't go into Detroit. They stay in their cold, dreary Minnesota.
Fine, Detroit came to town. I don't care. I'm excited. Details don't matter. So anyway, Lee, before I get too obnoxious or more obnoxious, let's just start talking about these games. So game 1 was Cold. I think like at the end of the game it was below freezing. Nobody wanted to be there, let alone who was actually pitching that day. Joe Ryan
Mine.
and Mize. Um, I don't want to say like of all of the games, this is the one that didn't really stick out to
Yeah,
me
no,
much.
I said it after this game. I'm like, well, if we're gonna lose any of these games, this is the one that we're gonna lose.
Yes.
Because it's against Joe Ryan. Casey Mize has a career 5.4 something ERA against the Twins. He always gets hit hard by them. I think they just see his splitter really well or something. Anyway, but I was not surprised that we lost this game, to be honest.
The Twins do have good luck, like because Gaussman is the same thing, and they have good luck against him. There's something about splitter pitchers that the Twins either are just guessing right or they have a tell on some. Maybe they tunnel it better than other teams, but yeah, that is kind of that would seem to fit their
To be
profile.
fair though, if Mize had a half good defense against him this game, 2 of those runs don't score. Because Veerling dropped a fly ball that led to another run, and then Torres didn't make a throw to first, and that caused another run. So, I mean, it wasn't that bad for Mize, but those weren't like, yeah.
I mean, he also gave. I mean, he only gave up 3 walks, but like Detroit's going to give up 7 in this inning. And just, I think we counted at the end of the series, Detroit walked 21 batters in 36 innings.
It
Like
was
you are
insane.
just asking the other team to take advantage of it. The Twins, to their credit, like Twins had base runners in this game and just all series on base, multiple times with the bases loaded. Just they actually kind of came through, which as a Twins fan who has kind of watched them have a big inning and then just kind of go to sleep for the rest of the game, it was kind of nice to watch them put up a crooked number in multiple innings. But with that said, I mean, the bullpen will concern me, not necessarily much in this game, but it was certainly starting to leak by the end of it. And then we can just kind of skip ahead to like it was pretty.
In this game, it was. I just want to count them for each game. It was 8 left on base for the Tigers. Yeah, that number's only going to go. Yeah.
Yes.
It was 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Not good. That was
Yeah.
like that the whole series.
I'd also be curious how many were left on base after the 5th inning, because I bet you like
It was a ton.
Twins starting pitching was very good. The bullpen was ready to bust. We're going to talk about it in the second game, really. But yeah, I mean, after the 8th inning, this is just Buxton gets on, and then Carantini with the bases loaded. Yeah, like look at who is this? Who's 48 for
Herder.
the take? Herder. I mean, just loaded the bases, and then Caratini just came on and just hit a death nail. So pretty basic single. That one's just a pretty basic win. So why don't we go to game 2 here with a really really exciting matchup. Scooble comes in again. It's still cold. That's just going to kind of be the thing. And then Taj Bradley, who has looked really good this year, was a really nice challenge for him. Lee, well, how did you think Scooble looked? Because I thought he looked a little.
He did not look good like this whole game. He didn't give up runs until the 5th, but in like the 2nd and 3rd, I'm like, he just does not look right because he was giving up way too many hits. He was throwing too many balls that were just balls out of hand. I mean, I was not surprised when he gave up runs in the 5th because he just did not look good the entire game. He just wasn't on it.
Well, I think he also that was the inning too. He walked his first left-handed batter in like over a year or something like that, and then he gave up another walk. If it wasn't that inning, it was around there too. But he, for what it's worth, like I did look because I didn't think he looked like his normal self either. He did have 19 swings and misses, so like it is kind of disgusting that we talk about Tarek Skubal being looking human and he gives up he's going to give up 4 runs and he's which for some it's not a good start, but for him it's almost like is he injured, like what's going on with him?
Yeah, he gave up back-to-back walks to start off the 5th. Like,
Yeah.
he does not do that. Like, that was his first walk of the season. It was the second walk of the season he'd given up so far. He does not give up back-to-back walks.
No. And then Josh Bell has been a hell of a sighting so far. I think he still has like a 1 point OPS. He's a streaky player, so like that's gonna happen. But this is where it really Yeah, Taj Bradley looks so good though. Everything was sharp. 6-1 innings. They're showing it on the screen here. 10 strikeouts, 104 pitches. Like he has looked more dominant every start. He was a little shaky today, but he still, I think, only gave up 1 run. But he looked fantastic today. And then here comes the 7th inning. I don't think they're going to show it, but Ryan Jeffers may have been the MVP. No, they didn't show it, so I'll stop it here. But Ryan Jeffers, with runners on base in the 6th and the 7th, gets a ABS challenge reversed to end the inning. Kills 2 rallies in a row. Like, could not be more clutch. Like, and it was just a challenge. But like, I was really impressed with Jeffers with this. He's going to kill another rally in the next game. But Lee, on the other side, how did you feel about those?
It was just really. Kevin McGonigal was the only guy who decided to show up to the ballpark that day offensively, it seemed. He scored both runs, because of course he did. It was so. I was at work for this game. It was so annoying because they were just. Yeah, they couldn't do anything. It was just also kind of the start of the Twins' defense is literally everywhere because they seem to be catching, I keep saying Minnesota hits a ball, it bounces 2 feet in front of Riley Green. Tigers hit a ball, it goes right to Byron Buxton. It's like, come on, can we stop there? Yeah, it was, yeah. And then this game was just stupid.
Oh, this game was over in the first inning. It should have been over in the first inning. So Valdez comes up, and he doesn't get lit up, but he gives up 6 runs in the first inning. Some hard hits. He hits a batter. He's a little bit wild. He does have some. He doesn't have a lot of swing and miss anyway, but I think he had like 7, which I think is just average for him. But yeah, just the Twins combination of good luck and good hitting. But
because there's like little bloops over the infield and all that kind of little stuff.
And then I think Wallner hits Wallner just smashes the ball here. Yeah, gives up 6 in the first inning. And then honestly, there's really not much. But what I will say for Twins teams who put up a big number, in previous years, they've had a bad habit of just giving up having a big inning. They score 6 runs and then they don't add to it at all. And it just lets the other team just chip away until it gets to the point where they're back in the game. And that happens here. The Twins, in our Discord chat, we talked about, I said after the first inning, I think 6 runs is the minimum going to be needed tonight. And you're going to notice this final score on the left side of the screen here. That was 100% correct because this bullpen really wanted to break this entire game.
And both the 8th and the 9th innings ended with no run to the Tigers and left 2 on base.
And there should have been. Cool. Yes. You just saw Sands with a wild pitch. This bullpen is just not good. I'll say the stat here. I was going to save it to the end, but the Twins, since the first time the stat has been invented, the Twins had 4 different pitchers record a save in one series. It is the first time one team has had 4 different pitchers record a save in the same series of a sweep. And that's since 1969 when the thing was invented.
Oh, there was another challenge-ending inning.
Yes. Jeffers killed 3 rallies just with timely challenges. And is that just awesome. That has to be such an ego stroke for him.
Can you just go down on the baseball reference page? How many were left on base for the Tigers this game? Yeah, look at that. 11 left on base.
11 left on base.
With runners in scoring position is actually pretty good, but 11 left on base in a 2-run game. And look at that final play there. Come on, another couple of inches up, and we tie that game.
Yep.
So that's just what I mean by the Twins seem to catch everything that was within, And I was it opened up another conversation of, is the Tigers' defense costing them games? Because okay, a ball bounces 2 feet in front of the outfielder, but if they were just a little bit faster, they could have caught that. Versus the Twins catch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this game was a disaster. I was like, at this point, I just did not care.
This was just a boring game. Yeah, other than Josh Bell looked great. I mean, what an easy swing too. Like it just looks like he took a 4-iron and it ended up going above left center field. So
hey,
looks like
if you told me that out of the 4 pitchers we had in the series, Flaherty was the best one, I'd be like, no. But yeah, he looked really good that day.
it was nice to see Nick Abel kind of show up because he's been kind of rocked. I think he had a 10 ERA going into the game, and he had 14 swings and misses going at the end of it.
Yeah.
I think this is the game, I think, where we can talk about it. I think this is the Parker Meadows injury. So, Lee, why don't you start talking about that, and it'll show up.
Yeah, so in the 8th inning, it's a tied game 1-1. There's a fly ball right to left center. It's like perfectly placed in the middle of Green and Parker, and they slam into each other headlong. Heads collide. Parker is knocked off his feet, and like I'm not sure he was conscious when he hit the ground because
I don't think he was.
He goes straight into Riley Green.
He was down for a minute, but yeah, I think he was 100% because it looks like he rammed his head right into Riley's shoulder.
Yeah, it was not good. I don't know what Riley is made out of. I don't know how he didn't get a concussion as well, but he was down for a while. It was bad. Like
well, he was down for a while, but like also like the one Green automatically like calls in the training staff, but then you see it's this here. It doesn't look that great, but like Meadows is out here. You can see just how he's limp from his body, and then everyone's just kind of in shock. They brought out the cart like I think within a minute. Like somebody got on an intercom somewhere and said he needs help now.
He could barely stand up. He could and he's holding his left arm there, and so I'm like, oh, he definitely hurt something there. And he had blood on his face too. It was bad. And yeah, so we still don't know officially how long it's going to be out, but it's going to be out a while. He has a concussion, shocker there, and a broken left radius, so a broken arm. So they're still deciding whether or not he's going to need surgery on that arm there. He had to stay in the hospital overnight in Minnesota, which that's never a good thing. You have to stay over it. Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I mean, a bad concussion, broken arm. I don't know when we're going to be seeing him again. This sucks so much for Parker because he had the hamstring thing in 2024. He had the weird arm nerve thing last year. And when he's been healthy and on the field, he's been good. Like, he was so good to end 2024. And this year, he was batting .260. He had 3 stolen bases. He was playing good defense. And now he's going to be out for most of the season, probably.
Well, and not to make light of the situation, but the Sox do this on a regular basis, obviously not to this extent. But Lee, the Tigers don't run into each other, do they? Or is it just
used to do that a lot in 2024?
Okay.
But they did it. I remember once they did it last year, Green and Vierling collided, and that could have been really bad.
Okay.
But they don't do that as much anymore. They've matured, they've grown. It's not as big of a thing. I don't know if you remember this in 2024 when in the Tigers White Sox game where Tigers clinched the playoff spot, Meadows and Perez actually collide to catch the final out. But
that's really right. Yeah, they caught it because we were unhappy that they normally they would drop the ball would drop, but no, they got it. Cool.
No, I was at that game, and me and my dad couldn't see what happened. So we're did they catch that or anyway? But they used to do this a lot more. But it was never headlong colliding into each other. It was oh, they bumped into each other. But no, this was It looks. I mean, that was one of the hardest collisions I've seen in a long time, honestly.
Right. It doesn't look at it. They didn't show a replay of it on the highlights here, but if you go back and look. He hits almost full speed into Green's point of his shoulder. Could not be more.
Yeah, they're knocking into each other, and Parker, Green is a big guy, but Parker's got 4 inches on him too. So yeah, because he's 6'6" or something. But yeah, and he hit the ground really hard because I don't think he was conscious. I think he got knocked out from that initial hit.
100%. So
yeah, and then the inning just kind of got away from the Tigers. Will Vest looked bad. I mean, his velo was down. He also had to stand there for 15 minutes while his friend and teammate was carted off the field. So, I don't know if Vest is good. I know he's bad this year, but like I said, his velo was down. Like those are numbers that you can point to. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I mean, extenuating circumstances in the inning.
Is he going to have a Carlos Estevez foot contusion in the next week or so?
Nah, probably not, because he's had good outings. He's just had a couple really bad ones that have blown up. That's why his ERA is like 7. But he came out, I think it was yesterday, and he looked good. So,
just because it happened, it probably should have happened during this series, but because the Twins, if you hadn't heard, swept the series, AJ Hinch had to wait for his 400th career game win as a Tiger. So Lee, why don't you give him his flowers for just a second?
Yeah, so he reached the 400th win as a Tiger mark, which I was like, oh, that's not that many, but I was like, no, that's actually kind of a lot, because it took him a bit longer to get there because those teams were really bad to start off. But he's the 8th Tigers manager to reach that mark. And he's also currently the 2nd active manager to have 400 wins with 2 separate teams. The other one is Terry Francona, who had over 400 wins with the Red Sox and the Reds, I believe it was. So yeah, pretty cool for him. He was asked about it.
Was that on purpose?
What?
I think you're forgetting.
Right.
I know Reds now.
No, I know. I knew that the Reds were involved somehow, but I was like, no, it's not the Reds. It's Cleveland. Okay, no, I did not do that on purpose. I swear. I just brain fart. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
I was waiting for Dan.
About it. He's like, I just want to win. But
so
yeah, good for him.
I was waiting for Dan. Dan, does anyone remember just because we talked about it the other day, the exact quote Terry Francona told Trevor Bauer as soon as he threw the ball over the infield? I was waiting for Dan to ask Lee that question.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't remember, the quote was, "What the blank is wrong with you?" Like right in the middle of the mound. You never see managers do that, but it was Trevor Bauer, and he's, if you hadn't heard, not a great human being. I can only imagine that.
Allegedly.
I think it's pretty confirmed he's a pretty terrible person. But whether he did anything illegal is alleged. But
we were just the Royals broadcast decided to dunk on him for an inning. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
No, I did not mean to ignore the Guardians. I just total whatever a mind fart. But yeah, Hinch he's still like 23 games below like the 500 mark in terms of like win-loss record as the Tigers manager, because those 21 through 23 teams were really bad.
He had a project when he took over the team.
Like I think we should move on from that cheating thing for him, because his penance was having to manage those teams.
Nope.
Those teams were bad.
Sorry, nope.
He'll probably reach 500 next year, probably. But yeah, just really cool to see him kind of climb up the marks in terms of Tigers managers. So yeah,
right, well, we can move on to one achievement to another, and then we'll talk about the series recap. But Jose Ramirez, we talked about it in the offseason when he signed the extension. He's going to basically just be the answer to any leading stat in Cleveland. But he hit one this week.
Absolutely. So Monday, game 1 of the Guardians-Royals series that we're going to start recapping here in a moment. Upon the start of the 6th inning, when the game became official, Jose his 1,620th game as a Cleveland Guardian, and it is the team Guardians games played. So the first of many milestones that he's going to eclipse here in the next coming years. Obviously, he signed a contract extension over the course of this winter and is going to be a Guardian through 2032. Sam very astutely this week mentioned off the air that, 1,620 games feels like a pretty low number for a team that's been around for 125 years. And turns out that's actually true. I didn't run through all the teams, but I did look at the charter members of the American League that remain, all 8 of them, and that is the lowest games played leader amongst the 8 teams, 1,600. Next was the Athletics. Um, their their player was somewhere in the 1,700s. Point being, though, the Guardians have the opportunity now to that number is going to grow. Ramirez being here through 2032, he has the opportunity to play another 1,000 games if he plays just the 147 that he's averaged over the course of his career when he's been an everyday starter. He could play another 1,000 games, and so we could be looking at 2,600 games before all is said and done. And this is just the first milestone of many that he'll be eclipsing here in the coming years. And just anytime I get the opportunity to speak positively about Jose Ramirez, I'm going to take it. They stopped the game. They did the video on the scoreboard, the jumbotron, as we got to the 6th inning, gave him a nice moment. It was a good moment, and was otherwise a loss for the Guards.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, quick question for you. Will, in your lifetime, do you think it's likely that anyone gets close to Ramirez?
Jeez.
That's tough.
So much. So the one other thing I found interesting, and this is just general overarching, like how did the Guardians end up with that low of a number comparative to the other teams in the division? I might write about this or other teams that were charter members of the AL. I might write about this at some point, but two things come to mind. A lot of the players that are at the top of lists for other teams, for some reason, I don't know if it has to do with like the combination of modern medicine getting better and like free agency not kind of building up yet, but a lot of them are between the 60s and the 80s. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And very famously, the Cleveland Indians from the 60s to the 80s were not very good. They made a whole movie about it at one point, actually. But also, a lot of the best Indians/Guardians players over history were pitchers. Bob Feller, Bob Lemon in the 60s, Sam McDowell and Louis Tiant, and Gaylord Perry in the 70s, and you get the idea.
I wanted to make that.
Until the 90s.
I wanted to make that point. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like Feller. It's been a pitching clinic for a century, and then for some reason in my head, I thought Stan Musial. I put him in an Indians uniform and not a Cardinals
Not
one.
the case.
Not the and I was like, and I didn't want to sound like a complete idiot. Like, oh yeah, forget this. Top 10.
The one guy who could have done it was probably Kenny Lofton, but he ended up being a journeyman for a bunch of other teams between his 3 stints with the team. Anyway, to answer your question, we have no idea what the financials are going to be like in this sport a year from now, let alone hopefully I live a nice long life, 50 years, whatever. My guess is no. My guess is that being in this small of a market, it takes at this point in time, it takes a very a good relationship between a player that wants to stay and the organization, and that thing, while not completely non-existent, is pretty darn rare. So I anticipate that for my lifetime, Jose Ramirez has the opportunity to be that player, and quite frankly, be the greatest Guardian in the history of the organization / Indian in the history of the sport.
It'll be cool to be able to be at a game a couple decades from now and be like, I remember when Jose was coming up and he was the best player we ever had.
Yeah,
it is really cool.
I look forward to doing that.
I had commented, and again, I don't want to diminish the accomplishment in any way whatsoever, but the Royals have been around since 1969. The Guardians have been around since 1901. The Royals have 7 players who have played more than 1,620 games for their franchise. So it's I think just a statistical anomaly that we see so few. This record being as not as much as I would have thought it would be. But the other thing is, I think it is cool because 1,620 is such a nice round number for this statistic to be, because it's 162 games a year over 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Now, obviously, Ramirez has played more than 10 years. He's not played a full 162 every year. But that is an interesting milestone that it is that number specifically.
So what you're saying is he should have just retired on the spot just to
Yeah.
keep it at that 16
I
point.
think we could all agree that would have been a good outcome, right? That would
I
have
think
been
so.
That's okay.
I think that if he plays another, I mean, how many more good years do you think Jose Ramirez has in him?
At least 4.
At least another
I'd
3, 4.
3 or 4.
Of being a top level player.
I feel like he's going to be one of those guys who's going to have it until he doesn't, and then he falls off really hard because like I feel like everything's just going to go away at once, like power, speed, those. I don't know. Anyway, not the point, but like I think he's got.
I can't wait for us to be wrong, and in 5 years from now, he's still like an MVP candidate and still doing the exact same goddamn thing.
Jose Ramirez got 7 votes for MVP this year. That's cool.
Another 5-war win for Jose Ramirez. Lottie just like water under the bridge.
How many top 5 MVP votes is he going to have by the time he retires?
That's the real question.
I think doesn't he hold the record for most cumulative MVP votes without actually getting an MVP?
Oh, that's
He might.
I think I saw
I'd
something
definitely look into that.
around where like it's been like, oh, does he? But I don't know if anyone's actually done the math.
What a list.
The consistency is incredible. Like every single, and that's what you're speaking to right there is like, no, he hasn't won an MVP, but he's in the top 5 every year. Like if you could bet on that on FanDuel, I'm not a betting person, but you're probably going to win that bet.
Yeah, that's why I don't like using just, oh, well, he didn't get any X awards. Well, he was in the top 5 every year. So I think that counts for something.
I can't wait for him to retire and that to be an actual point in Cleveland talk radio of why he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like, well, he never won MVP. He was only top 5, 19 years in a row. Like,
jokes on you, Eric. We don't talk about baseball on talk radio in this city. So there you go.
To put it into perspective, Derek Jeter, another guy who famously never won MVP, he finished in the top 5 of MVP voting 3 times. Jose Ramirez has finished in the top 5 of MVP voting 6 times.
I thought he would have gotten it once, even if just for Yankee bias.
Derek Jeter never got it.
He had the steroid era to deal with too.
He finished second a couple times.
Yeah, because I actually
he played at the same
was
time.
I think that went to Morneau the year he should have. It was like 2007 or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Jeter probably should have won it, but I don't care. Like, suck it, Derek. Like, you've gotten enough in this life. You're fine without your MVP trophy.
I'm never gonna feel bad for a Yankee not getting an MVP. I don't care.
Correct. Especially like the most vaunted player of the last 50 years or whatever. So anyway, we can probably, and just for context too, I looked up Byron Buxton debuted a year after Jose. He's only played 912 career games, and Jose is almost doubled that, with just basically another year of eligibility. So anyway, let's talk about the series. Even though it was it was a series, but Dan and Sam, what are your thoughts on it?
Starting with game 1, I want to give Michael Wacha some flyers here. I believe, he had a really good start. The Guardians only really had 2 shots at him, and it was in the 5th and 6th that they're, a little bit deeper into the game. And that 5th inning, I don't want to call it a rally because what it was a 2-out double by Gabriel Arias, and it ended up being a pretty monumental double for Arias in the matter of his career because he ended up, as he was turning and burning for second base, ended up popping his hamstring along the way. And so he did a pretty bad number on it too, quite frankly, considering he's going to be out maybe 2 months with that hamstring injury. And for his trouble, Daniel Schneemann replaced him in the game, and the Guardians could not score him from second with 2 outs. So just to kind of put a bow on the Arias portion of this, he was obviously put on the IL. The Guardians promoted Juan Brito, who was a second baseman, infielder in general, I guess, that I thought maybe kind of missed his opportunity last year when he spent a lot of the year injured in AAA. He's hit fairly well in the 4 games that he's played so far, which obviously incredibly small sample, but had a second game of the series, had a double in his first at bat. He's a .514. And it on the Arias side of things, it's just he was finally starting to kind of come around offensively. Again, another small sample, but he is a very confusing ball player just in general. He is a mystery wrapped inside a riddle, inside of an enigma, as far as I'm concerned, because he will look lost, completely lost at the plate for 2 weeks, swinging at pitches a foot and a half out of the strike zone, and then he'll hit a 3-1 curveball off of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, a 3-1 curveball over the center field fence at 107 miles per hour next to field. So he'll
Would
make
you
great plays in the field, and then he'll miscommunicate with Jose Ramirez, and a pop fly will drop in the shallow outfield.
would you say
So
he's very Javi Baez-esque? I think
in a way,
Baez. I think is actually an incredibly smart player. So like, I don't know
I-
how you feel about his IQ.
so
Hey,
no,
Javi
and that,
Baez is
yeah.
currently batting over 300 to start the season. Okay.
Baez is a very skilled player. He's very, like you said, a smart ball player. I don't want to insult Gabriel Arias, but my vibe on him is he's got incredible physical tools, and it just always isn't working between the ears. Um, anyway, he'll be spending the next 2 months potentially on the IL. We'll get a chance to look at Burrito, which I'm kind of interested in, uh, as it looked like maybe he was going to get skipped over for Travis Bazzana, and that's no longer the case. Um, other than that, there was one other opportunity the Guards had in this game in the sixth that went by the wayside. They got 2 walks off of Waka, and Manzardo, who's been one of the unluckiest hitters in the league thus far, bounced into a double play. So uh, I kind of rambled on that a little bit longer than I expected to, but if Sam has any thoughts about game one, happy to hear them.
I mean, if I could, just for the Guardians, love to see that Palata, whatever the guy from the Sox you guys picked up, got the loss for you, but he looks like he is having a good season for you so far. So
He's been fine. They're using him very smartly, kind of as like a on the B team, in when they're trailing. But looks like he's got a really good curveball, honestly.
Yeah, well, and I'll just say this. The Royals' offensive struggles have been, noted here early in the year. But it was good to see Jonathan India drive the bus in this game. He got a couple opportunities, really came through, got a hit with a runner in scoring position after a passed ball, dropped third strike, wild pitch to put the Royals on the board. Hit a home run, 2-run shot in the 8th inning to kind of put the Royals ahead. So it's good to see him. He's been looking a bit better this year, and I think that he's starting to click. And I think that the Royals hitters as a whole, they're not firing on all cylinders. And I think it's a matter of time before they do. We'll get into more of that later. But Waka looks great. I mean, Michael Waka looks like through 3 starts, he's given up 1 run. He's been
looks like he froze again.
he has been. That's true.
And also, like, I know I keep every time I think of Michael Waka, I think he is, nearing a retirement home and his arm's about to fall off. But he has only been a 3-WAR pitcher his entire career, including his entire time with the Royals. So, like, maybe I should just shut up whenever it comes to talking about Michael Waka from here on out.
Every time I hear the name Waka, I just think of the sound that the Pac-Man makes. Waka, 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 waka,
You think of Fozzie Bear?
I thought of Fozzie
I think
Bear,
of Fozzie Bear.
who does the exact same sound. Like, by the way, like,
I don't think about Fozzie Bear. I don't know what he sounds like.
I mean, Lee, I would tell you, like,
Lee
those
is too young
references
for
are
that
pretty
reference.
close together.
I have watched the Muppets. He's like, it's not that much, and not since I was a kid.
I think the Muppets predate Pac-Man, but I don't think by all that much. Like those, if any,
Okay,
you
but
could probably argue the
Pac-Man is
Muppets are
Pac-Man,
still
though.
more relevant than Pac-Man, but
How is Pac-Man less relevant than? Okay, whatever. Not the
because
point.
the Muppets are still on. How many Pac-Man games are they making today?
I
They're
had
still making
Pac-Man on
Muppet
my
movies.
calculator all through high school. I played it all the time.
Anyway, game 2, one of the most frustrating Royals games that I've watched in a while. The Royals, this was another talk about sputtering offense. Royals had a couple chances in this game. One hit, though,
We just
in the
saw
whole
it.
game, and you just saw it there with the Carter Jensen home run there. The Royals had a bunch of walks in this game, couldn't come through with a big hit, and ultimately, play 99 games where you only get one hit, and you're probably going to lose all of them.
10,000 people came down to the ballpark on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. It was 33 degrees outside, and this is what they were rewarded with. This was a walk
There were
fest.
10,000 tickets sold, Dan. That doesn't mean 10,000 people actually showed up.
I'm seeing those stands right now.
You're definitely right. Probably about 4,000 people came down to the ballpark on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Anyway, this was a walk fest. If I'm not mistaken, there were at least 13 walks in this game. I know Gavin Williams had 5. I know
there's only 3 runs scored. What are you guys doing?
And there were only 3 runs scored. Other than the 5 walks, Gavin Williams was excellent. 5 2/3, only allowed the one aforementioned hit. He looks like the second half version of himself he did last year, and that's really good. I still want the walks to come down, but otherwise he looks really good so far. From there, Brian Rocchio had a walk-off base hit. I have to say Schreiber for the Royals didn't look very good in this game. I think he threw more balls than strikes, and obviously gave up the winning run there. So that's what I have. Was this also the game where Rocchio kicked the ball, allegedly?
I think this is the game where Rocchio kicked the ball. So there was a play where Rocchio was on first. The ball was hit to the right side. It was a high chopper. And he kind of, didn't really try very hard to get out of the way of the ball. And the ball ended up hitting him in the knee. Now, Stephen Kwan was running, so it probably wouldn't have been a double play either way. But I was watching the game, and Jeremy Guthrie, who's been doing a lot of the color commentating this year for the Royals, he's been really pleasant to listen to. After this play, Jeremy Guthrie said something like, "I wish they would come over the intercom and tell us what happened there." Then he goes, "I wish they would come over the intercom and tell us how to score that, because I don't know how to score that on my scorecard."
I believe Kwan gets a hit.
So yes, so if you listen to the AL Central rundown for educational material, here's if a ball in play hits a runner, here's how you score that. You give a put out unassisted to the nearest defender, and then you give a hit to the batter. So that is how you score a ball in play that hits a base runner.
The more you know.
Yep,
Don't say you never learned anything at the AL Central rundown.
Precisely.
Sam, did you feel like that was a dirty play by Rocchio to do that? Because I
don't.
That's smart baseball.
I think that is taking advantage of the rules a little bit. I think that's knowing the rules, number one. And I also think that it probably wasn't going to be a double play. Like Kwan hits that ball, 9 times. He is probably safe on a fielder's choice, 9 out of 10 times on that play. So,
but if Rhys Hoskins hits that ball,
yeah. If Rhys Hoskins hits the ball, then maybe it's a different question. But I think that is a little bit of. I think that's a high IQ play. I think that's knowing the rules, and I think it's a little bit of like a,
The levels of guards ball on that play are incredible. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I think as far as dirty play, I think that's a gray area.
Yeah, I appreciate that. As a person that was a fan of the other team, I was curious of how you felt about that.
Yeah, I think it's. I think there's a midway between just like a high IQ play and a dirty play. I think that's a little bit of a gray area.
I think that's fair.
So just because this is not the most notable kicked ball that happened this week, anyone have any thoughts on the Manny Machado clear kickball, like basically measured it up Paul O'Neill style?
I saw the Reddit post on it, and I'm like, oh, I bet he probably didn't actually kick it. They're just making a big deal out of it because it's Manny Machado. And then I looked at him like, oh, wow, he really kicked that ball, didn't he?
I haven't seen this before. That was a soccer style, like
Yeah, you're deadening
on
the
a
ball.
cross.
Yeah.
You know what I thought when I saw that? He raises his foot up like he's going to try to avoid the ball.
Mhm.
And then I think you see it pretty clearly on this take. He raises his foot up like he's going to try to avoid it. And then he sort of hesitates and he goes, oh, I'm just going to try to kick this ball. Like, I think that's like a spur of the moment. Like, he realizes that there's a better way of doing this. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's kind of what I thought too. Speaking to our conversation, looks like the Nintendo patches are still right there.
Oh,
Maybe
yes,
that's
they
why.
are, aren't they?
But but yeah, I think you're exactly right. Is he obviously didn't intend to kick the ball when the catcher threw it, but I think once he saw the opportunity, it was like, oh,
Well, might as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume the play you guys are talking about is not the same, but
If I end up finding it, I'll share it and you guys can take a look. But it's a little different than that. But yeah, again, and this last game was one of the most frustrating games that I've watched this year. Cole Reagan's just looked
That's the ball.
sharp as he could be through the first two hitters. Takes a ball off the hand, and then it just spirals out of control from there. And the Royals, again, had a couple chances, down a couple runs with guys in scoring position. Vinny Pasquantino was at the plate. He had several chances where he was at the plate to drive in runs. And then you can see, Cole Reagan wasn't feeling too good after taking that ball off the hand.
They couldn't delay the game to get a guy warmed up to come in, or
They left him in.
They left him in. Yeah, they left him in.
Why not just take him out there? Like, he clearly is not ready.
They really should have.
Or maybe they had to play. I don't know.
I'm good to go, coach.
Clearly not, because we just saw you airmail your 2 practice throws to the backstop, and now you'll be fine in live competition.
I don't know. But anyway, Royals had a couple chances in this game. Vinny Pasquantino was at the plate, couldn't get it done. He had 2 or 3 chances to get it done in this game. And it's frustrating because Vinny is the guy on this team who, when you need to go get a bucket, he's there for you to go get a bucket. And he was in that situation 2 or 3 times and he couldn't airballed it, and so the Royals showed some fight. They kind of came back. They were able to put themselves in, gave themselves some opportunities. And then bottom of the 8th inning, Steven Cruz comes into the game, and it's the same story that we've seen all year with that guy. He gives up a grand slam, and that's the end of that. I mean, there's a reason why he was sent down to Omaha after this game, is because he has given up, I think that's his 5th home run, or 4th or 5th home run that he had given up this year, which, checks notes, leads baseball in home runs given up by Steven Cruz.
3 weeks in, how has he given up that many?
And he's a relief pitcher. And he didn't start the year with the team.
Oh my God.
So
bad.
Good job by you. This again, just another game and another real just missed opportunity for the Royals.
Are you
win
ready
game
to
one?
Admit, are you ready to admit the Twins won the Michael A. Taylor for Steven Cruz trade back when he was a prospect?
Yeah, that's Michael A. Taylor had a couple decent years with the Royals.
He did. I really like he's on the Twins staff right now. I really like him.
He is. But yeah, just again, you win game one in Cleveland. You put yourself in great position to win the series. You have opportunities in game 2 and game 3. You can't capitalize, and then you end up losing the series to the Guardians. Now, there's a lot of games between the Royals and the Guardians that are yet to be played this year, but it feels like a real just early season struggles with this team. which we've seen the last 2 years. A lot of guys on this team don't get off to a hot start. I foolishly thought that because of the World Baseball Classic, there would be some guys on this team who would really get off to a good start to start the year, but was not the case. And so a missed opportunity here against the Guardians.
A lot of the guys who play in the WBC just all around the league have not been doing particularly well.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always the talking point. I don't know.
It's probably just made up numbers and doesn't mean anything, but it's just kind of it is kind of funny to point to like Cal Raleigh and be like, "What have you done?" You know?
And I make a point about Game 3 before we move off of it.
Go for it.
I agree with everything Sam said, but to me, the game was over after Reagan's got yanked out of it.
Probably.
The Royals bullpen hasn't been very good to start the year either.
And there's a reason why Avila got sent down too with Steven Cruz.
They gave up 7 runs in this game. Obviously, 4 of them came on the grand slam Steven Cruz allowed. They also, obviously, as I said the day before, Schreiber didn't look good, gave up the walk-off against Rocchio. So the fact that they were able to get Rickens out of the game in the first inning, that's huge. And so there's that. And then from there, the Guardians offense took advantage of that situation. They had a strong offensive performance. They could have floundered and they didn't. Angel Martinez, who hit the grand slam, went 4 for 4. Rhys Hoskins had 3 doubles in this game. Not necessarily the guy. Well, Hoskins was a guy you were hoping to get this kind of production out of, but they've capitalized on that. And Angel with a really nice game, arguably I don't think there's any argument about it. It's his best game as a major leaguer. So good stuff all around, and good to get 2 out of 3 from KC early in the year, division rival. So
this is the Guardians become a bully game because they're just like, let's just beat up on a guy who just got hurt. That's fine.
yeah,
We
right.
hurt. Yeah.
Can we talk like the Guardians are like the not stereotypical bully, because you picture the bully being like the 6'5" dude that's just jacked, and it's like the nerd who still is shoving you into the locker.
He did Taekwondo though, so keep that in mind.
They're the type of bully who's like super passive aggressive and like nice to your face type.
Just beat you down verbally.
Or then they'll say something and then you're like, oh thanks, and then you walk away and then like, wait a minute, they were just insulting me. That's the Guardians.
Bunch of nerds.
Is there any word on Reagan's for if he's going to be out? If it was an injury, was it just hand hurt right in the moment?
I'm gonna guess it was hand hurt. I haven't heard anything I haven't seen anything on MLB trade rumors.
Left thumb contusion is what the internet is telling me on a quick search. So don't know if he'll make his next start, just looking at this very quickly, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be out. He's not going to be put on the 60-day IL with a left thumb contusion.
I've got confirmed for next start, yeah.
Maybe just misses the next start, but it's good to go for the next one. That's good at least. I mean, I want to see a guy like that be knocked out because he is so good when he's not.
And he's missed a lot of time as it is, so Sam knows.
So we go from one Royal Series to another, and I'm assuming Sam, after you just saw two very back, 2 pretty frustrating games to watch. His first game in Chicago wasn't much better. Ty, Sam.
I mean, this game. I mean, it's the whole series so far has just been who can not do anything each other. I don't know a better way to say that.
I think I described it as movable object versus stoppable force.
Yeah, the movable object versus the stoppable force. And look, I'll say this. Again, going back to Royals' offensive struggles, here's the deal. We know that the Royals have good players on their team. We know that on paper, the Royals probably should not be second to last in runs scored in the American League. And in this game, Royals had, again, several opportunities to get something done. They had the same number of hits as the White Sox. And again, you had Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, Bobby Witt Jr., your go get a bucket guys at the plate, and guess what? They couldn't go get a bucket. So the Royals,
2 for 12.
on one hand, have actually done a better job of getting runners on base in this season. Now the problem is they need to work on getting the runners off of the bases. And when's it going to turn around? Because you're playing the White Sox. And
now, Sam,
on paper,
game one,
an opportunity to get right.
Anthony K did throw a good game.
Anthony K did look good. Anthony K looked good, and I'll tip my cap to him as, a guy who came back from overseas to, return to the big leagues. And they were actually talking about how, 10, 15 years ago, if a player went overseas, their career was probably just over at that point. So good job, Anthony K. That was a good pickup by the White Sox.
There's a really good, well, good is relative, Tom Selleck baseball movie about him going to Japan. I forget the name of the title, but it's good.
Mr. Baseball.
There it goes. So let's say I like it. I don't know if it really holds up, but I still think
Magnum PI.
Yeah. I'm going to guess the humor of an American player going to Japan from like the 1980s. That humor probably doesn't hold up as much as I probably want it to, but it's worth checking out if you haven't watched it.
Sounds like our next movie review right there.
Maybe. If any other thoughts on this first game?
No, and a good start by Seth Lugo is good to see.
Yeah.
He also has been very good to start the year. 6.1 innings pitched, 2 runs given up. That's the Seth Lugo special right there. 1.53 ERA to start the year. So, speaking of games that ended with the score of 2-0, we'll be continuing this motif as the series moves on. The Royals won 2-0 in Game 2. The offensive production, again, not very good. One run double by Bobby Witt Jr. That we just saw, and then continued sputtering on offense. Chris Bubich looked good. Set a new career high for strikeouts in 7 innings.
So
very surprising to me that Davis Martin went out there, only gave out two earned run over 7. That was really cool to see. Obviously, I think if the Royals are playing at their potential, this game gets out of hand very quickly. But Martin did a really good job. And then you saw it in the box score. The Sox got 2 hits. We got outpitched. Bubic is really, I think he just has a really good history against us as well. But this game was lost before it started.
how has Murakami been looking? I know he had a hot start.
Dear God, help me.
Oh, no.
And he's leading our
He
team.
was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in this game, Eric.
Oh.
Good pitchers are finding ways to hurt him, especially with stuff rather than fastballs.
Oh,
It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
that sucks.
But anyway,
Jensen, though.
Carter Jensen got another homer in this game, so that's good to see.
Didn't show up late.
Yeah. His numbers since his alarm clock failed to go off have been pretty good. So
Really kicked him into gear, huh?
yeah, really did. So again, kind of a get right win there by the Royals. And then also, this game was 1 hour and 55 minutes long.
Both were up. Both first 2 games were under 2 hours, weren't they?
I think was
Or was all
both
3
games
of
were
them? Anyway,
probably under 2 hours, but anyway,
not great. Not a lot going on.
not much.
First game was
going on.
2:35.
Got it.
Okay. So then that takes us into the third game.
Oh, goody.
Another 2-0 ball game.
Can
So
I just,
also-
Sam? Fetty looked terrible,
Yeah.
and the Royals just couldn't capitalize. I mean, like, yes, you won 2-0, but I was just like, Fetty should not be getting away with this. I want to say he escaped a bases-loaded jam on top of probably 2 or 3 more times where you had men on first, second, third. Didn't happen. I don't. It's very surprising to me.
The answer, Ty, is that the Royals are like 0 for their last 30 with runners in scoring position.
That'll do it.
That's not an exaggeration by me. So anyway, yeah, no, but again, just more good pitching by Michael Wacha. He went 8 innings, no runs given up. He again looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball through his first 3 starts of the year, and just more of the same. Just another quick. This game actually. So games 2 and 3 were both under 2 hours in this series.
And I will say it was really disappointing for me, understanding that the chances were very low that we made a comeback. We brought Jordan Hicks in for the bottom of the 8th, and I just didn't understand the point of that given his history. He did give up an earned run. I don't remember if that was a home run or if it was just because Garcia started with a homer for the game, and then
I think it was like
Patino had
a sac fly,
Yeah.
like a double, and then a sac fly by the Royals in the bottom of the 8th inning, if I remember correctly.
And if you're trying to be competitive, which we can make those comments elsewhere, but why bring Jordan Hicks in when you're down by 1? The game could have still gone longer. We could have gone into extras. So I was a little disappointed in that choice, but it all ends the way that it was supposed to end.
Yeah.
And Tanner Murray did one of our call-ups from last week did get his first MLB hit here, so that was cool to see.
Yep, there you go. So anyway, yeah, 8 really good innings by Michael Wacha, and then Lucas Erceg came in 3 up, 3 down, and that was all she wrote in that ball game.
I think you guys probably talked about it. I stepped away for a second, but I think this is Wacha's 3rd straight start with 7 innings of one.
I believe that's the case. Yeah.
Less than 2 runs given up to the White Sox or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this series is just the epitome of AL Central baseball. Like this,
Honestly.
if someone asked what is a typical AL Central series look like, this is what I'd show them. This 2-0, like this
in
is
March and April specifically, because once again, if this is middle of July, either the White Sox it's like a 5-7, or we're going all out and it's just tons of runs.
Yeah, well, great news is that the Royals are going to go out and just, right the ship tonight and this afternoon and just win, 9-2 against the White Sox.
Or the opposite.
Hot take.
Or the opposite.
I'm going to guess somebody's going to go off today. We don't know who, but it will be like a 7-run blowout.
Every other time that we use Grant Taylor as our opener, we've won. So I'm just saying.
All right. Well, the game did just start, so.
That's what I was waiting for. It was like delayed by rain or something like that.
Yeah, it was a rain delay. So, they did just start the game. So
why don't we go into the schedules, and we will go in division order. As soon as I bring up my screen. All right, the Guardians. I have to see what week I am on. They just finished the Braves. They have the Cardinals and then the Orioles this week for 4, and then have the Astros after that. That's kind of a... Well, we'll see. Do we know what the Orioles are doing yet? They're probably... I don't know what to make of them yet.
They swept the White Sox, so whatever that means.
Well, everyone sweeps the White Sox.
Orioles-
Not exactly anything, except for the Blue Jays, apparently.
The Orioles are 7-7 to this point. I do want to take this moment. I've been doing my best to not get ahead of myself, but I just want to acknowledge for a second. The Guardians have played so far the Mariners, the Dodgers,
Yeah.
the Cubs, the Royals, and the Braves. That's 3 teams that were in the playoffs last year, a team that's a big bounce back candidate for a lot of people, and then a division rival. And they have the best record in the American League right now. So
against the
Have you
Baltimore
considered-
Orioles, I don't know if that's going. Does it translate?
Ty, that's a very valid point. So
Have you
it's
considered
15
that the
games.
Mariners are actually cursed, though? And they are at the bottom of the standings currently.
The only point I'm trying to make here is I'm very happy with how this first
Yeah.
15 games has kind of gone. Of all the ways it could have gone, this is one of the best ways I could have foreseen. So that's all.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's a good start for you guys.
The only reason I'm showing this baseball reference page is
Uh,
if you look at the SRS number, it's basically the strength of schedule. So if it's a positive number, they've played a better strength and schedule. Like again, this is all projections, and this I don't know what MLB what baseball reference uses, but the Guardians have a 1.5, which I believe is the highest in the American League as far as toughest competition, and they're 9-6. So that should probably be noteworthy.
The White
That's
Sox
record in the
are the
American League.
least in the league and have the worst record in the league.
Yeah, glad you spotted that, Ty. I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you did.
It's April, guys.
It is, and we're 3 weeks in.
I would rather
That's why
have the
I'm
best
not.
record in September than the best record in April.
That's why I'm not bringing out the professional wrestler energy right now, unlike somebody else on the podcast. But it's a good start. It's a better start than I was expecting.
We gotta let Eric have his moments. He's not
I
gonna
was
have a
about
lot of
to
them.
say,
These
if I do not
standings aren't
take
going to
this
last
moment
that
now-
long, man.
If I don't take it now, I'm not going to get a chance in June or July. So
you
like, this
got to
is
remember
my
the
one
Twins are
shot.
going to sell off at the deadline. So what does that look like?
You're lucky I didn't do an 8 Mile style rap battle and just shoot insults at the Tigers for like 5 minutes.
I would have liked that a
Nothing
lot.
you can
Actually, I
say
think
is
it's lit.
worse
don't
than
think you
what
would've.
Tigers Twitter is currently saying. So
Honestly, I will say I'm genuinely surprised that Lee has not been kicked off of this episode.
I'm biding my time. Don't worry. Also, the only reason they got swept was because the entire team had a stomach bug all series. So there you go. That's my thing. For the series, you cannot prove me wrong.
Lots of National League for the Guardians early too. Getting the Cardinals out the way here in this.
The
next few
Tigers
days.
didn't play an American League team until the Twins. Like it took them
Yeah.
3 series to.
Then got swept. Second, the Minnesota Twins playing Boston and then finally end their 15 games in 15 days on the 16th and then have the Reds. What I should note, the $2 happy hour, the Twins are doing this a lot. They've actually, now you can say what you would like about the poll odds, and I certainly have. The Twins had a power outage, like that delayed the opening game, the home opener, and they're now giving free tickets to a game against the Reds because there was a delay. Is that because their stadium has been incredibly empty the last couple of weeks? Yes. But are they doing something that's just going to benefit fans that just might want to go to a game on a Saturday? Yes. So I will take that type of shameless seat stuffing. I don't care. So like that's kind of cool. They're also doing a National Beer Day. They just added on their $2 beers before pregame. So like that's
I like the wine women in baseball. I want to know what are they doing for that? On the
That's
night-
ladies' night.
yeah. We'll have tens of people. This is just a screenshot, or else I would poke into that and see what it is.
They're gonna put live, laugh, love signs everywhere on like all the walls.
Oh my God, you're not wrong. There's going to be toy poodles in every like little. The top of the margarita is going to have a toy poodle stuffed in a purse. Next up, you have the Royals going to play the Tigers, and then at New York, which I'm off this week. Maybe I go to that. That would be kind of fun. No fun.
Would you be wanting the Royals or the Yankees to win that game?
F the Yankees. Like, why would I ever cheer for the Yankees? Absolutely not. I will say I've gotten to Yankee Stadium quite a few times because they're obviously my closest ballpark. Yankee fans on an individual basis are fine. Collectively, though, you all still suck.
Hold on. I have some breaking news about wine, women, and baseball night at the Target Field.
Yes.
If you buy an exclusive ticket, you will get an exclusive Twins quilted tote bag and access to an exclusive pregame hospitality event at the Keeper's Heart Town Ball Tavern.
That's pretty cool.
Women like tote bags is what they're marketing. And now.
Essentially,
that's-
yeah.
that
Like
would
they
be-
marketed
yeah.
a tote bag. Okay, well, there you go. Detroit, Kansas City, and then at Boston for 4. And then the White Sox, Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay has not looked good at all. Ty, I'm feeling good for you this week. And then the Athletics.
And we're at
Frankly-
home against them, and we have been playing better at home. So
Well, I think the Athletics are kind of like what we thought the White Sox were before the start of the season. We're like, they got some guys now. Like, they might actually be on the upswing.
The
But I don't know.
AL West leading Sacramento Athletics. Everybody.
Oh,
God,
crap.
really?
Sorry, Ty. Well, that's not what we wanted to hear. What do you do? Sorry, Ty. So, those are the schedules. We have one series to predict. I would love to tell you that we'd be able to have like full standings, but the Kansas City Chicago series is still going on, and that's the difference between a split and a Royals win for one of us. So, but for this week, we have Kansas City at Detroit. Right now, just to go over the standings, why not? With that one series out. Lee, Dan, and Ty are all tied for the lead with 2, and then Sam and myself are pulling up one series behind. So, why don't we start with Lee? Detroit or Kansas City?
Skip me for now. I need to think on this. I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
No.
that's not fair.
Well, you make me go
No.
first every single time. I need
No.
a little.
Okay,
come on,
fine.
put it
We
above.
will
I'll
do
go
from
ahead.
the
I'll go
bottom.
ahead, and I will predict that the Royals are going to win this series. I feel like the Royals are in get right mode, and they need to get right before they play against the Yankees later this week. And if you don't mind, Eric, I'd like to make a further prediction.
Imagine
about this
that.
series, which is that Cole Reagans is going to have a really good start. The game that he starts in this series, which I believe will be game 1. That would be Ragans.
Is he even
Will have
confirmed that he's
a
going to be
good
starting?
start. So while Eric tries to format that text, Lee, you can think
I
about
knew
what
exactly
you
where that was
want to
going.
predict for this series.
Neither of Sam's other predictions were correct, right?
Murakami did not apparently go off.
No, he
Yeah.
did not. Nor did Bobby Witt Jr. But that's
Okay, no,
okay.
Reagan is confirmed for his next start. Never mind. What game is he pitching for that one?
I think he's
Yeah, well,
pitching
Lee,
game
while you're
1.
still thinking, we'll go to Ty.
I don't want to go
I was
first.
doing
every
my
single time.
research. How dare you? The Detroit's going to win the second game. Kansas City's going to win the first. So I'm going to choose the Detroit Tigers.
All right, Dan.
Sam has alluded to the offensive issues that the Royals have had thus far, and I got some specifics on that. They're 23rd in WRC plus right now for the season. Most notably, the triumvirate, the 3 guys that you would expect to play well. Bobby Witt Jr., 316 is his slugging percentage. Slugging, not OBP, slugging. Salvador Perez, 309 slugging. Vinny Pasquantino, 182 slugging. You can't
Sounds
keep a
like
good man
those
down. But I don't think it happens just quite yet. Detroit wins 2 of 3. Actually, Detroit sweeps this series. Not that we count sweeps or not, but I think Detroit sweeps the series.
You're predicting the Tigers to have a 6-game win streak.
No, see, that's the thing. You're expecting them to be way too competent. And that's where I'd pause on. I'd hit the brakes on that one.
Detroit still leads this division in run differential as well.
I mean, Kansas City. Neither of them have looked good. Can we agree on that? Neither of these teams have been exactly like stellar baseball teams at this point.
I think that's fair. Yes. Underachieving to this point, I think is a good way
They've
to put
both underachieved.
I've at least seen the Tigers have some life at the plate, so I'm going to go with the Tigers. Lee.
All right. I've thought about it. I'm going to say Tigers as well, and I'm going to tell you why. The Royals have not looked good. They have good pitching. Their offense has looked terrible. The Tigers just at home just swept the Marlins to start off. It's the Marlins. However, their offense is a lot better than the Royals' offense is currently. The Tigers' pitching just held them to 3 runs in the series, only one of which was not a sac fly. I think the Tigers are going to win 2 out of 3. I think the Tigers' offense is finally waking up. They're not playing in 25-degree weather anymore, and pitching is going to hold down the Kansas City offense.
And outside of Reagan's, it does look like Detroit has a good the offense does have good records against the other 2 starting pitchers.
Yeah, they're not. The Tigers' pitching is going to be Framber, then Flaherty, then Montero. Montero has looked really good in his most recent start against the Marlins. He looks great to the point where they're slow launching Verlander's return. Framber had a bad start, but that was outside of that 1 inning. He looked good. Flaherty has been on and off, but I think he's going to be good enough. So one of those we're probably going to lose, but I think they're going to take 2 out of 3.
All right, I think with that.
I think the standings are going to look very different next Sunday.
But until we see those standings, I will probably not be able to show this at all for the rest of the year. So with that, I think we'll call it a week. We'll see you all next week to see just how far down the Twins have gone down the standings when they go on their 5-game losing streak because I was an asshole